Yo, welcome back, guys. Shit, what day is it? September 16th. It's a Tuesday. Let's go over today's New York session. I'm gonna move the webcam to like over here. I hope that's better. Today was an interesting day. The basis of it was no trades were taken. Really had to pay attention to the market in terms of like continuation versus counter. But let's go over it. Okay, so as always, step one, identify the bias. Are we bullish or are we bearish? We are bullish. So this is my most recent break right here. This was the first break. Technically, this would be the break with the wick transfer. So from here, now that I know I'm bullish, I'm going to start marking up higher time frame confluences that align with my bullish bias. So we have an order block down here, which is actually, this would be the more appropriate order block because this is the most recent one. What makes an order block valid has to be a breakup structure with a candle closure, so that's valid. Secondly, I'm going to jump down to the 1 hour, and the 1 hour is also bullish. As you can see, we have a break here and we have our second break here. What time is it? 6? Yeah. So I'm working off of this order block as well. This is 1 hour, and there's 1 hour liquidity here. This is another order block that we could have worked off of. And then from here, I just wanted to jump down to the 15-minute. Now, in this case, I really only use the 15-minute when we're not in a 4 hour or a 1 hour order block. So I actually just kind of jump straight down into the 5-minute. Now, as you can see, it's kind of reacting off of the same area. So I'm for, clarity purposes, I'm just going to remove that 1 hour order block. As you can see, we tapped into the 5-minute or the 4 hour order block here using fractal rules. The first break happens right here. This is valid because it's at 5:10, which is only about an hour backwards. So that's still within our fractal time frame. So that's our first break. Liquidity was grabbed from the swing. Liquidity was also grabbed from these internal highs as well, but I'll just mark up the swing to make my chart cleaner. Now, because it grabbed liquidity from the swing point of my break-in structure, and it was a type, what we call a type 2, or well, there's two types, right? Either a wick or a full body candle closure. This case was a full body candle closure. So what that means is if price breaks past this point here, the setup is now invalidated. So I was definitely keeping my eye out. Now price came down, wick transferred to here. I didn't love, so at this point we have order block tap, liquidity grab. Well, it should be liquidity grab and then order block tap, right? The only thing I didn't like about taking this entry here or here is the fact that we have now generated like very, very equal lows right here. So I really wanted to see that be taken out. And at this point in time, it was 650, 655. The 1 hour was going to close really bearish. So I didn't love that setup, but I was probably going to take it anyways. Just because if it shows me that my setup is forming, I shouldn't worry about other things. I'll just take it and let the numbers do the heavy lifting for me. But what ended up happening was we did take out this liquidity and we closed below, right? So that means at this point, this whole setup is now invalidated, right? Because we have break 1 and then break 2. Now, depending on your broker and your charts, I know some people in the team was able to take advantage of this trade because they're on CFD charts, right? Which is fine. We just have to follow our own rules. Now, let's say this also just wick transferred, right? Like from this wick to this wick to this wick without the closure, the entry would have been right here. And I probably would have gone with 30 pips or 30 ticks. 30. 1-to-1 achieved. Full TP hit. The only thing is, definitely would have had to been on the 1 minute. This one's tough. Like, you either would have gotten a really late entry or you would have gotten early, depending on, you know, how quick you are. I do want to check the 30-second. I would say in the last 30 seconds, I probably would have like entered off of this candle and then like broke some rules per se, because I would have hated to get up here, even though it ended up working out. This is a super late entry. Honestly, I think this would have been okay as well. I would have covered my stop loss with 35 ticks. TP still worked out, so this is good. We had a lot of volume coming in, so I think that was valid. But again, that would have been the case if this had wick transferred instead of closing. So now at this point, what do I see, right? I'm gonna erase some things. Erase. So at this point, 1 hour liquidity has been grabbed. We've tapped into the 4 hour order block again. I'm going to start with fresh fractals because our setup was invalidated. So here's my first break. Swing liquidity. Internal higher low liquidity generated. And that was pretty much it. This is also technically liquidity. Yeah, so I would say no entry here. So when price got up to this point, again, I had to wait this candle closure. So this is now, we can now start to look for counter trend setups. We didn't really get one, to be honest. Price melted from the higher all-time highs. And at this point, it was like, okay, we grabbed liquidity again and we could potentially look for continuation setups. The only thing that I was kind of debating was when it sweeps a counter trend liquidity, you should wait for price to break twice to that counter side, so to confirm that the liquidity has been grabbed. Now, sometimes you don't have to. It is recommended to. In this case, because we came back all the way down into this order block and the whole setup was ready, this PA level formed. I was debating if I should get in on this if price gave me the opportunity. It would have been a pretty big stop loss. Not going cap. But the EMAs kind of told me the EMAs were leaning more towards the bearish side. Like if the 1 minute was like underneath, I would have felt a lot more comfortable doing so. But that just wasn't the case. So what ended up happening, we broke, so we wick transfer, and then we finally broke here. So now this whole setup is now invalidated. That was pretty much it. That was the session. Would have traded this if it wasn't invalidated. And yeah, at this point, like I kind of finished trading at like 9 a.m. or 11 Eastern, just because at this point I would have to wait for new breaks and structures. Session is coming to an end, so that was it. So any notes off the top of my head? I think again today I kind of got out of bed a bit late. I was looking at the charts from my iPad, and then I got out of bed at like 6:40, so gotta get up on time. I think we performed well. We marked up everything properly. Again, staying adaptive to counter trends versus continuations, paying attention to the rules, invalidations, what's keeping it valid, being patient. So I would say performance overall was pretty good today. September has kind of been a slow month for me. That's pretty much it. yeah, so tomorrow will be Wednesday. Hopefully we'll catch something for the week. I'm okay with just taking one trade. Again, I don't really care how many trades I'm taking as long as I'm following my plan. But yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow.